story for her English homework. Right from the heart, he said, and you'll do just fine. So Dad, here goes. My dad was my role model. He was, to me, the smartest person I knew. Growing up, I was surrounded by books of almost every topic and category possible. He was the bookworm of all bookworms. He collected thousands of books, despite my mom's endless complaints of the dusting that needed to be done. And he passed on that love of reading to myself and my brothers. Wanting to emulate his impressive book collection, I started collecting books of my own. Aside from buys to church, every penny of my monthly allowance went to buying books. Whenever he traveled to KL for work, to comfort a little girl who would miss her daddy, my father would promise to bring home for us one gift of our choosing. I suppose now it's technically a bribe. I never asked for candies, toys, or Barbie dolls, like probably what most children would ask for. I only wanted books. My brothers and I grew up reading the books my dad read, and that included Reader's Digest and National Geographic magazines. And even well into my adulthood, one of my favorite things to do was to have book club sessions with my dad. Shortly after I migrated to Canada, I noticed my collection of books disappeared. And when I finally found out several years later that my mother had donated them, I turned to my father and I accused him for not protecting my books, and he responded with his usual quick-witted humor. I was too busy fending your mom off from my own books. My father was an intellectual man. He loved to learn, so he read a lot. But it didn't just stop there. He enjoyed being a strategic thinker and sought ways to challenge his mind. He played bridge, a strategic card game at a very competitive level, was a Rotary Club of Likas Bay member for decades, and he enjoyed meeting and hosting people from all over the world and from all walks of life, young or old, sharing knowledge, listening to another person's views, and having meaningful discussions and conversations. One of my memories of my dad was every night after dinner, when it was time to unwind from the day. My dad would pull the New York Times crossword puzzle printed on the Daily Express newspaper, and he would work on his crossword puzzle. If you have ever attempted to solve one of those puzzles, you know they are pretty hard to solve. I asked him why he would work on those puzzles when they were so hard, and he would just quietly smile and say, "It's like solving a riddle." As kids, I would remember we would play Scrabble, but my father rarely played with us. He would sit with us and be our walking dictionary whenever we wanted to challenge a word. He was never wrong. If we doubted him and insisted he check his dictionary anyway, I mean, is this a word? N can't be a word, right? If we lost that challenge, we would have to give our points away as penalty for making him look up in the dictionary just to prove us wrong. Looking back, I understand why he did not play with us. He knew we would not beat him in Scrabble, and he wanted to give us play Scrabble. Yen, N, is a two-letter word. It is a unit of measurement and it is a very valid word in the game of Scrabble. My father was a collector, and I don't mean just physical things, although yes, there was a lot of that. But he was a collector of knowledge, music, art, and nature. He loved playing his guitar, and I remember many sing-along sessions with my father, whether it's at home, cell group, at church, at family gatherings, or camping by the beach. He had a collection of vinyl records, and he listened to many genres such as classical music, Neil Diamond, and one of his favorites, Simon and Garfunkel. He loved nature, plants, and art, and he surrounded with people who shared this passion. One of his closest mates was Uncle Murray Fagg, a botanist from Australia, and Mrs. Tina Rimmer, a British artist who was known for her local Sabah works. Many may not know this, but my father also collected shells. A hobby he started as a young teen. He grew that collection to be a world-class respected shell collection. We have had collectors, enthusiasts, and conchologists from all over the world visit to see my dad's shell collection. He had a room filled with shells, and its species meticulously cataloged by hand and carefully displayed on custom shelves. As a child, my dad would take us shell collecting, always really early in the morning before the sun rose to catch the low tide. And he taught us how to clean the shell, which is, by the way, very painstakingly slow and incredibly smelly work. A few years ago, my dad made the difficult emotional decision to finally let his beloved shell collection go and donated it to the University Malaysia Sabah Borneo Marine Research Institute. The university, probably 2 years later, is still electronically cataloging his collection and his handwritten cards. But we hope that one day his collection will be enjoyed and appreciated for many generations to come. JFK said, "We are tied to the ocean. When we go back to the sea, whether it is to sail or to watch it, we are going back to from whence we came. Above all things, my father loved the ocean. It is impossible to separate my father and his love for fishing. We have a running family joke. In the Cho household, if you don't like to eat fish, you will probably starve. Throw my father in a boat in the middle of the ocean with some bait and fishing line. He would be the most content man in the world." Dad was a natural teacher. He lived a life of service, be it at the church or during his 4-decade tenure as a Rotary Club member. He had a gift of explaining things to a young child in a simple way that a child can process. I believe it's why in his later years, he was so involved with Praise Kids. And over the last few days, I am truly touched to hear that he has made such an impact on others' lives as he did mine. My father encouraged me to dream big and explore this beautiful world, but more importantly, to always be kind and compassionate. While it's hard to summarize my dad in a few pages and the kind of person he was, I believe for all my father's intellect and complexities, he was really a simple and humble man. He was always happy to celebrate his siblings, relatives, and friends' big and any accomplishments as they made their mark in the world. He was content to be a small part of their lives while he lived a simple version of his own. With his beloved and devoted wife of 47 years, his 3 children and grandchildren, Ihan, Asher, and Ashley. He loved his family and extended family fiercely, and he instilled in us the value of love, family, and devotion. A lifetime of wonderful memories with my dad. I have been incredibly blessed and proud to have been able to call him my father. I will miss hearing his calm voice, his quick-witted humor, and his cheerful smile. He has fought a good fight, finished the race, and kept the faith, and God has called him home. And to be perfectly honest, I think he's probably wondering why we are here, making a big fuss of things. No amount of words can measure how much we appreciate the outpouring of love, praise, and support we have received over the last few days and weeks. So on behalf of my mother, my brothers, Ben and David, our families, thank you. Finally, I came across this beautiful Irish prayer. It is a blessing that I know my Father would love and would want to leave you with it. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind always at your back. May the sun shine warm on your face. The rains fall soft on your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you